going on, kid?
Hi, Brian. How are you?
Awesome.
Awesome. It's a good way to be. Who got to see Brian last night at the burlesque show? That was so fun, Brian.
For those who didn't go, I did not take it off. I was the MC. I teased it, but
Yeah.
instead I sang. I sang War Pigs.
So good.
Yeah, I was getting a little jealous that there was all this attention being paid by the performers. I had to perform myself, so
You were,
there
and
we
you,
go.
you were like in the crowd.
Yeah,
and,
man, if you're
like-
going to give me a wireless mic that'll work out in the crowd, I'll work that like Maury Povich.
So fun. So to start, I feel like I have to mention that you are currently on the show The Floor on Fox. Is anyone watching The Floor? I hope everyone's watching The Floor.
Thank you. Currently on Fox, Wednesday nights at 9. You can catch up on Hulu. Season 3 we're up to. Someone who was a friend of mine contacted me going, hey, we're casting for this game show. Would you be a part of it? And I was like, sure. And they sent me information. I was like, all right. And I read it, and I was like, okay. And I started binging season 1 of a show called The Cube, which is the Dwayne Wade game show, because I thought that's what it was said in the post. And no, when the person then said, hey, I got you a follow-up interview on a Zoom at this time for The Floor, I'm like, what's The Floor? I'm like, the game show that I sent you the information about? I'm like, so I then had to switch gears and then start studying the first season, because that was the only one that was out at the time, of The Floor. I was like, oh, okay. It's like a flashcard kind of game, and all right, trivia, that's kind of cool. I like this. This is like Pictionary in a weird way. And that's what it was. And just so you know, if I can say it, that person was the one and only Kid Cadet here. She's a casting associate who she reached out. You reached out to me. I forget what show it was a couple of years ago, the singing one.
The one I was on, which was I Can See Your Voice.
I Can See Your Voice. That's
Right.
right. I had a very bad audition, and my computer in the sink, and I was trying to sing like I think I did Creep. I think.
Was it Creep? Yeah, it's
I think
possible.
I think it was
yeah.
Creep. I sang for my audition, and I didn't get on it. Well, you didn't have to see my voice. You know my voice.
But I know legally what we are allowed to say. Can we say how you're doing on the show so far?
Well, you don't want to spoil it
We don't
for
wanna
other
spoil it.
people. If you want to watch the show, let's just say, so the rules are simple. There's 100 pieces of territory. Every person has an expertise category, like birds or hockey or, physics. Then they ask you in the audition process, give us 5 subjects that you think you would be an expert on. So I was like, all right. So I was like, oh, I'd be an expert on hockey, because I'm a big hockey fan. And then I was like, oh, I could be an expert on Comic-Cons. I could be an expert on comics. I can be an expert on sci-fi. And then I jokingly was like, and I've been known to be hanging out in convenience stores a lot. And and so they ran with it, because you didn't know what category you were getting until you landed, because they film it in Dublin, Ireland. What? Yes, it's a show, a lot of shows actually. Anything that's Gordon Ramsay shot in this exact studio in Dublin, Ireland, except Hell's Kitchen, because that's an actual restaurant in Los Angeles. You fly you to Ireland, you get your subject in this list. I'm like, oh, convenience store items. I'm like, so they're going to do the tongue-in-cheek kind of thing, and there it was. So what you do is you compete with other members around the floor. There's a randomizer that picks all the single squares and goes bing, and then they go, oh, so let's say birds, here's your category, and they're like, well, I want to challenge, convenience store items. And then you go up and you got to name things on a screen, and you have to pass if you don't know it, which gives you a 3-second penalty, because both members who are dueling have 45 seconds to try to name and outlast their opponent. Whose ever clock runs to 0 first is out of the duel. And so my subject was convenience store items, and someone had challenged me on the second episode. I'm not in the first episode, which aired right after the Super Bowl on Fox, so it was crazy. The first time I've ever been on a project that 14.1 million people were seeing at the exact same time. To me, that's just bonkers. And it was just that episode. And I didn't play. I wasn't picked on the first episode. But, they panned around to people and stuff. And people like, because as they panned for me, like, was that? Holy, stop. Like, they'd sit, like, that's the guy from Clerks. And I'm like, yep. It's because I got texts, my phone started blowing up. This is a weird question, but are you on this TV show called The Floor? I'm like, yeah. And a lot of people are like, are you even supposed to be there today? Ha 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 ha. And I'm like, yes. And then they're like, why are you being on a game show? I'm like, why can't I be on a game show? Who cares?
Yeah.
It's because there's an assumption like, oh, you're in the Kevin Smith movies. You're a millionaire and all this other stuff. I'm like, I'm in a Kevin Smith movie. None of us are millionaires.
Right.
You know, it's not like we're on a hit giant TV show or something, or, you know, like Twilight or whatever, big movies like that. Even those guys, I mean, there's no one's making giant amounts of money except the studios and the producers who do it. So when you amass the most squares on the floor at the end of an episode, that person is awarded $20,000. Or if it's two people who have the same amount of squares, you split it $10,000 each. And I've been able, from episode 2 on, kind of go on a run of winning the days, and I'm still on the show. As of now, we've run 8 episodes out of 10 or 12. 12 it is? Might be 12, I'm not sure. I think what happens is the finale is 2 hours, and that's why the number is thrown off to me. So as of right now, of this date is episode 8. And I'm doing pretty good, let's put it that way.
You are. Well, if it's okay with you,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd say we should play a round
What?
of the floor right now.
Ah, man.
Can I challenge you, Brian?
All right, what's my subject?
What is this? Okay, hold on. What is the subject? Anyone?
Category? Back of the room?
We should go down and we'll play in front of the screen.
Oh, is there a screen here?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was, that's right, we got to see what it is.
Celebrities in, what is it? Celebrities in cartoons. Okay.
Celebrities in cartoons.
Okay. What side do you want to be on?
Well, obviously you've just picked a side.
Well, no. We're both going to be over here.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Are you guys okay if we do this?
All right. We'll see what happens here. And don't hold me against this because I've been on a good goddamn run.
I'm very scared to play against you.
I don't know why you're being so scared,
I
but
know.
boom.
Okay,
All right, let's
so
see this.
our friend Beaver has the timer, and like Brian mentioned,
45
or I don't know
seconds.
if you mentioned, if we are allowed to pass if we don't know it,
Correct.
and then that takes 3 seconds away of your time.
Correct.
So
And I was always giving tips to the other players, and that was the thing. I don't care. Like, there's no like, I hate you. You're gonna go down, eat it. You know. I would tell them like, look, the simplest tactic you need to do is see it, say it. See it, say it. If you don't know it within 2 seconds, just say pass, and the next picture comes up.
oh, it's so meta.
Woo!
Oh, we need to be able to see the screen.
You can't fit.
Okay.
There you go.
And I guess we should say don't shout out the answers to help us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't shout it out at all. What? What are you talking about? It's hot in here.
All right. Are we ready? Wait, and do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
You challenged me.
Okay.
Come on, don't you know the rules? If
So
you challenge me, you have to go
I
first.
go first?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm so scared.
Yeah, it's easy. It's just so you know, she's a casting assistant for the whole show, yet she is nervous about doing the show.
Yeah, because I don't participate on it. I just put people on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
Are we ready? Okay, so are we all going to say together 3, 2, 1? All right, so here we go. 3, 2. Holy shit. Dolly Parton.
Duchovny.
Jay Leno.
Pass. Spock.
And who was the one? Oh, Conan O'Brien.
Pass.
You have to tell us who it is. Oh,
Kevin Smith.
pass. Oh, is that Adam West? But I still pass. Oh, Alice Cooper. Nope. Pass.
Mark Hamill. Oh, sorry, that's you.
Mark Hamill.
All right. Oh, pass. Fuck, I know it though.
What is it?
Oh, Mel Brooks.
Oh no. Oh gosh, it's pass. I don't know. Oh my God, this is terrifying, guys. Pass. Oh, Marilyn Manson? Yep. Okay.
Oh, Jonas Brothers.
Oh, Jennifer Lopez? Who the heck is that?
Pass.
Who is that? Oh.
Weird Al?
Oh no. Time's up, so did he win? You
Yeah, my streak continues. By the way, that's
Who is
Patrick Swayze from the Clerks cartoon.
Holy shit.
Voiced by the legendary Gilbert Gottfried, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God.
Bonus points for that knowledge.
Wait, Brian.
Yes.
Do you want to challenge someone in the audience?
Does someone wish to challenge me? All right, here's a quick question. Name one of her passes she just did. Boom.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, Dana Snyder wasn't one of them, right? Oh, was? It was. Oh, shoot. All right, you're in. Which one was he?
What's your
Oh.
name? Tajon. Okay, so Tajon, this category is movie posters? With no name. Okay, here you go.
All right, once again, you are the challenger. You will go first. If you don't know it, you will say pass, 3 seconds will run off, and then the next image will come up.
You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready? Yeah. You ready? Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Jurassic Park. Yep.
Pass. Fuck, I know it too.
Pass.
No, hold on. It's me again, yeah. This is The Graduate.
Yep. Pulp Fiction. Yep.
Back to the Future.
Yep. Ding. Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs.
E.T.
Yep. The Exorcist.
Yep. Apocalypse Now.
Yep. Clockwork Orange. Yep.
Oh, Inglourious Bastards.
Yep. Truman Show. Yep.
Pass.
Black Swan.
No, that's me. Black Swan.
Oh, sweet. Yep.
Good.
Bohemian Rhapsody. Yep.
Oh, Player One. Level Player One, yeah.
Yep.
No. Hang on then. Jackass the movie. Jackass 2. Jackass 3.
Something with James Cameron. I forget the name. Pass.
That's you.
Clerks. Yep.
Tusk.
Yep. Halloween's. No, wait. Children of the Corn. Children of the Corn.
Oh, Centipede. Human Centipede.
Pass.
I didn't see it. Time is up. Brian is the winner.
Right on.
Brian.
Well done. Give it a round of applause for our player today.
Wow.
Right on, right on, right on. See, it's nerve-wracking, isn't it? Because you know it if you're just given time, like, oh, that's so-and-so. But just that moment of time really makes a difference. That's why saying pass quickly. It's like, oh, wait. Blah, 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 blah. Like there was I'm just going to say one of my duels. One of the very first duels was architecture. And this woman who was very full of herself, Madeline, who will go up on stage.
Okie dokie.
This woman,
Oh,
Madeline, was listening, oh, I know architecture. I give tours here in Chicago and blah, blah, blah. And so we start rolling through the categories. I passed on one or two of the things as well. But she did this whole like, ooh, I know this. No, I've been there. I did this. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Just say pass. You know it, but not right now. And that's the thing. See it, say it. So what did you think now being in front there?
Yeah, I'm really bad at it.
No,
so
that's not true. It's just you didn't have a time to study, which
Yeah.
they give us time to study. You arrive in, you find out the list of categories, and then that's your time to research. Our first day was just orientation, then you go back to your hotel room. Now, granted, there were people like, I'm in Ireland for the first time, and they went to downtown Dublin, the Guinness factory. They didn't do any type of studying, and I'm not saying you should buckle down and not have fun, but at the same time, it's $250,000 that is up for grabs, that you have the opportunity to win. Never mind that. You have the opportunity of just surviving one show, getting 20 Gs. 20 Gs, that was my strategy going in. My whole bar was just like, I just want to win one day. I just want to win 20 grand because I was supposed to, the week that we were filming in Ireland, I was supposed to do Smoky Mountain Fan Fest down in Kingsport, Tennessee that same time. And they had Kevin and Jay. It was like a big get-together. And I was like, all right, I didn't want to cancel because we're filming in the beginning of the week. And, you get knocked out. You literally get knocked out. They may do a quick exit interview. They put your suitcase and you in an Uber, and you're heading to Dublin Airport. Now, if they can book you the next flight out that day, you're on it. Or they put you up in the hotel near the airport, which we jokingly called Loser Hotel. And then you flew out the next day. If you wanted to, like, oh shit, I'm in Ireland, I want to stay for a while, you could. You could change your ticket to return whenever you want, but that change fee is on you. The production is washed their hands at that point. So that all being said, you had time to study in your rooms every night. We would shoot, on our first day, we shot 2 episodes, and then from that point on, it was 3 episodes, 3 episodes, 3 episodes. And so by the beginning of the day to the end of the day, you'll see there are some games where people are like, and exhausted, or they're fried because they're passing so much, because at the end of the day, you've been in a studio for 16 hours. And an episode to film in general took about like an hour and like almost 2 hours each, because there's a lot of cuts, a lot of stops, because it's TV, so people get hair and makeup. They're like, when they challenge you, I'm challenging you, books, and yay, books. And they walk to the edge of the stage to come up that big runway, cut. Hair and makeup comes over, the challenged person gets all touched up. Then they do action. They run up, yeah, shake hands, and like, all right, we're going to do books. Here you go, you're the challenger, and then they cut. The rules people come out and they explain to you, you're going to do books. You're going to see a title of a book up there, and one of the words is missing, and you're going to have to fill in the blank. Now, do you understand? You verbally have to go, yes, I understand. Now, if you do not know the answer, just say pass. 3 seconds will be run off, and then you continue. It is still your turn. Do you understand that? And you have to go, yes, I understand that. And yet people still blanked when it was their turn. But they make sure that everything's explained to you, that when it's in the 3, 2, 1, they're doing the chatter of us who are not challenged, like, oh, he's a librarian. He's going to know books. This is going to be crazy. Oh, shit, he's read like thousands of books. Well, first of all, we weren't allowed to curse. But they do that part, and then there's the 3, 2, 1, go, right? So we would have the stage person do a 3 count before the 3 count. So they're like, all right, ready, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and then boop, 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 bam, and it starts going. So it's an intense moment for the players who are up there, because I'm standing here. If the podium's here between us, I'm standing here. There's a screen over Heather's shoulder that I'm looking at with my clues, and she's looking over my shoulder at a screen over here. And then there's the giant screen that the audience and the rest of the players get to see here. So never do that, because it's showing all the things, and just like how it happened here, we'd both be saying the other person's thing. So I said to all the other players, if you see it, say it. If you don't, even if they made a mistake, which technically they did. Sometimes, let's say it was books, and books are coming up and whatever. Next thing, there's a car. I'm like, what? Because just 2 categories ago, cars came up, and computer glitches happen. And they'd so cut, and then the rules guy would come out like, you had 29 seconds, she had 24. We're going to start from this position and take this again. Okay, you're going to say your correct answer, and then we'll go again. And that's what it would happen. And so TV is long, and people are like, oh my God, were you standing on the floor for that long? We were standing on the floor for long, but in breaks like that, we literally would just sit on the floor. They would give us comfort breaks. Out in the area would be all these big permanent not porta potties, but bathrooms, and people who were smokers would go out there to have a cigarette. We'd break after episodes. We'd break for lunch. If it was a 3-episode day, it'd be a lunch and a dinner break in between the 3 episodes. So that would wear on people psychologically. There was this one woman who was really missing her kids, and I thought they were going to pull her entirely out because she was they have a mental health, 2 mental health professionals on set at all times. If anybody's having anything emotionally going on, they'll take you to a quiet room and talk to you if you had an issue. Like, it was a really fantastic production. The Irish crew, one of the best crews on anything I've ever been on. Everybody's like, how's Rob Lowe? What you see on the screen, the interactions with the players and Rob Lowe, is literally the only interactions we had with Rob Lowe, only because there's laws about game shows and personnel intermingling, and you don't want to seem like you're having undue influence on a player because you're having drinks at the pub after an episode. That's just inappropriate. Like, you don't know they're going to rig. So there's that movie Quiz Show that came out quite a while ago about this happened in America 50 years ago, and since then there's federal laws. And the rules committee guy in orientation explained all this, like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. And like, when they gave us the list of all the categories, some girls like, but what if we want to share something on the internet? And they're like, no, you just signed this giant NDA with, I think, like, it was $1 million penalty if anything got out and stuff like that. And everybody, like, it's a room like this with all the 100 people here. And she was like the back row. And we all went, what? What are you She did that.
She did it.
She did it.
Yeah.
And she literally didn't even make the first minute of taping.
Yeah.
They found her. They found who it was. And they're like, you're a player? Yoink, you're out. Now, easily, I don't know if they fined her, but I mean, a minimum, like kind of a fine like that with a television studio lawyer is like 20 grand. You owe us 20 grand for all this bullshit. Now we have to scrub the internet to try to get all that list off and all this other stuff. Then there's also backups. There are alternates in case there is someone who's pulled, or if someone gets sick, or someone becomes inappropriate, or someone gets in trouble while in between, like overnight, and gets in a fight at a bar or something. So there's a lot that goes on that people don't realize on these game shows.
And also, I mean, obviously you're wearing a jersey today, and you had a very specific jersey on the show, which people were asking about, because you can't have anything branded either.
Correct. So once you get chosen, now you're getting in touch with the travel person, the hair and makeup people, and then wardrobe. And they asked you, they said, look, you got to give us 5 wardrobe looks that you would like to have as your look on the floor. Remember, you can't do logos, you can't do sports teams, you can't do anything that's branded, blah, blah, blah. So you couldn't have like Guess or Nike, or, even if you did like Dolce & Gabbana, with all the little, things, you can't have any of that because that's just advertising and licensing. So I'm a big New York Rangers professional hockey team fan. And so I was like, I wonder if I get a logo-less Rangers jersey where it's literally just the colors, that should be able to pass. So I found a site called hockeymonkey.com. It sounds like something out of one of Kevin's movies. But it's a legit site, and you can buy blank jerseys. And so I did. Now, they had their little Hockey Monkey logo in the tie crest here on the little plastic hockey puck kind of thing. So I took a thread stitch puller, and I pulled that off, because that was a logo as well. And I was like, all right. So I took a photo. I took another one, which was the smock, the quick stock smock that's from Clerks 3, but without the quick stock logo, just the black and yellow. I was really trying to just fucking like play. I was going to have fun. I am no way in any shape or form a genius. I'm just like, I won't be able to win this $250,000. But I'm actually holding my own and surprising myself every night. And so, that being said, I was like, when it came to costumes, I'm just going to have fun with it. And then the other 3 looks were just like kind of stylish shirts or very cool shirts and stuff like that. And I said to them in the email, I said, hey, my number 1 choice would be the hockey jersey, these pants, and blah, blah, blah. My second choice would be the quick stop smock. And then the other choices are whatever. And so a week went by, and then I heard back from wardrobe going, hey, your first choice hockey jersey is approved. I'm like, yay, because I'm sure wardrobe then has to go through legal and all this other stuff. And so that's that. And then I got my tickets for Aer Lingus. That was the other thing. They had asked, oh, do you have a valid passport? I'm like, I do, but it expires in September. Now we're shooting in August. And like, oh, you have to have it at least go 6 months beyond your travel. There are countries that won't accept you. Even if your passport's legal at that moment and even will last your actual trip, they only will accept you if you're 6 months further. So he's like, you got to renew it. I'm like, oh, shit. Now, I have an Irish and an American passport. I got my Irish passport when I was 20. My aunt in Ireland's like, you're going to get your passport because you're deserving of it. Because my whole family is born there, including my 2 older brothers. So I went and I got my passport, and every 10 years I renew that. So I renewed that because they're both the same time. I renewed that one and my American at the same time. American took for fucking ever. And the Irish one I could just do online, which now you can do the American one online. And so I was nervous. If I didn't get my American one back in time, that I wouldn't have been able to get on either. So the travel guy kept asking me, and I still didn't know why would I need a passport when I'm gonna be flying to LA for this thing. And it wasn't until he's like, I got the new one. Here's the scan of my thing. He's like, great. And let me send you the tickets. I got the tickets online, and like Aer Lingus, Dublin. I'm like, what? And then I found out, oh my God, they shoot this in Dublin. I thought for sure I was just flying to LA. I was going to call up some friends that of mine that are going to be in LA for that week. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in LA for the week. We should hang out. And then it turns out it was, ha, you're coming to Dublin, DTT. And I was like, all right, here we go. The birthplace of my parents and my brothers. Here we go, my heritage. And that's what I thought. Every time I was winning, I felt that connection. Like, it's because I'm in Ireland. It's giving me powers. It's like me Dragon Ball is right here. It was that kind of moment where I was like, I'm making more money than my ancestors ever did. So that part of it was kind of like, whoa, crazy. And I got emotional even on the game. And we did a post-interview about it. And what was great was the whole crew then was like, good on you, mate. They were like, hey, it's your parents doing that. It's your love here. It's your power. And I was like, oh, that's so much. And then we all went outside and went, and then beat each other with our shillelaghs. It was that kind of feeling. This trip is something I will never forget. And you'll see, especially when it ends, it's beautiful.
Wow. And I don't know how it ends. I've
I
been
know.
watching week to week too, but I'm so proud of you, and it's been great getting to watch
I
your show.
surprised myself. And it's so weird because, listen, I'm in movies about donkeys and dick and fart jokes and snowballing, right? No children come up to I'm not a voiceover dude who's got like, oh my God, you're my favorite character ever, right? And blah, blah, blah. Since the floor, I now have young people like, hey, we're pulling for you on the floor. I play along. And I'm like, this is so weird. How do I talk to children without going, shut up, you little rug muncher, you know? Or, you know, get over here, you little porch monkey. Don't worry, we're taking it back, you know? You know, that's the things that we do in Kevin's movies, right, with kids. Like, I don't, you know, like you could watch the Clerks cartoon. That's very kid-friendly. But even still, that's not really like a kid's show. Although bear driving car, how can it be? So it's that type of thing where I'm now, like, this is the second con that I've been to since the floor has aired. I did Toledo's Fantastic Con a couple of weeks ago. And it was just weird. And that's the other thing. I don't have any headshots or something based on the floor, because I don't want to spoil anything about it. So I'm going to wait until the show ends. Then I may do a print of me on the floor or whatever. That was the other thing. You weren't allowed to take anything with you in the studio. So no cell phones, no nothing. I was fortunate enough that my hockey jersey went long enough over my pocket that I at least had a bottle of hand sanitizer. Because like a third of the way through the tapings, COVID was going around. Like some people, like crew and stuff and other things. And so I was always like putting hand sanitizer on in general, because you go up there and sometimes you lean over to your opponent and you're like, good luck, or you're shaking even Rob's hand. And there was this one cat who was sweating when you shouldn't be sweating, kind of a thing. And I was like, and I would talk to the few friends I made, you know, on the floor. I'm like, yo, don't be shaking his hand, man. It's like fucking outbreak patient zero right there, I'm telling you. And so it got around that I was the one having hand sanitizer on the floor. And so this person has played on the floor, up and had challenges and has survived and stuff. And they'd get back on the floor, and other friends would look at me, and then if we had a break, they'd come over to me, hey, Brian, you got some of that stuff, man? You got that good shit? Yeah. I'd be like, right in there, like.
The hand sanitizer's the good shit. I love it. That's so funny.
So yeah, I was hand sanitizer guy.
So I did see that Kevin had commented on one of your posts.
He did, because so many fans started telling, like, yo, Kevin, bro, you seeing O'Halloran? He's crushing it. You know, and Kevin's busy. He's got his own entertainment thing he's got to do. And so finally on, I think it was Batman Beyond or Fat Man Beyond with Mark Bernardin, they had said, like, yeah, and I think at that point, spoiler alert, I had won $60,000 at that point. And they were like, oh, wow, O'Halloran, man. And, I always knew he was a smart guy and blah, blah, blah. So that was a nice shout-out. I had heard it. I literally texted him, because he tapes on West Coast time, and I'm on East Coast time, so it was like 1 in the morning. And I was just like, hey, man, thanks for the shout-out. I appreciate it. He's like, go get him, brother. And I'm like, oh, thank you, sir. And so I jokingly talked about it on the floor, like, you know, if I win the whole thing, he'll be hitting me up to fund the next Jay and Silent Bob bullshit.
Right?
Which we are making another Jay and Silent Bob bullshit.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Store Wars. Jay and Silent Bob Store Wars about the cannabis shops. So we start filming in the summer, and knowing the way Kevin edits, it'll be probably by the fall or the beginning of next year, and he'll do the tour thing again. That's the best way we make our money back, is by doing the tour.
Who else do you think from like the Askewniverse would do well like on a reality competition show?
Ooh, I would love to see Jay do the Amazing Race. Because he does not travel well. I know he's on the road right now going to comedy clubs doing his Amusing Stories tour, but I know how that cat needs things. Like, the cat needs a fan in his hotel room for the white noise and the cooling. He drinks like 20 kegs of Red Bull. He's a nervous flyer, and he's always like, yo, where's this hero stage thing? And if you try to give him directions, he's like, can someone just take me? So I could just imagine him on something like that. But as far as like someone who'd be like super successful, I think Kevin would be very good at Jeopardy. He is knowledgeable about a lot of things, and he's really, like, he's well read, especially about films and literature in general and books. So I think him on Jeopardy would be great, like, because we on this season have a 6-time champion Jeopardy contestant on our season. He's yet to be randomized.
David?
Yes, David.
Okay.
And there are times where he would come over, especially if I won 2 or 3 days in a row, where he's like, hey, I got to tell you, you're going to be called to do like Jeopardy. If you need to, I can recommend you and these casting people, blah, 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 blah. Like, he was on, he's like, your life is going to be changed forever, and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm just an idiot playing a flashcard game right now. Leave me alone. Like, the best, card sharks maybe where they go higher, lower. I'd be cool with that. But Jeopardy, Celebrity Jeopardy maybe, because let's be honest, they dumb it down for Celebrity Jeopardy. It's like, what's this color blue,
Cerulean.
Yeah, it's like it's royal blue. What shape is this triangle? I'd do that. I'd find some sort of animal charity to do that for, or something like that. Or the Comic Book Artist Fund, which is always a great one as well. So something like that I would definitely do. But as far as thinking like, I'm a genius, I'm now Megamind, no, I'm still an idiot. It's fine. I know some things, I'm kind of funny. I jokingly call myself a fountain of useless knowledge. Like things that never would save your life or make you millions of dollars, but everything else I know.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see the rest of your journey.
I know.
Exciting.
Mm-hmm. As of right now, I have the second largest piece of real estate. There is someone with a little bit larger right now, and the action's been, jokingly, we called it on the other side of the world, because 2 continents started to build. So now the East Coast is being, or the West Coast is now being very active. As we will pick up on Wednesday, the action's on the West Coast, and I'm on the East Coast.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's all happening. So, if it's okay with you, only because we were lucky enough to get an hour block of time.
I know. This is awesome.
We still have some time, so do you want to just take some questions?
Yeah, we got 25 minutes. Let's do Q&A.
If you guys want to
Microphones are up front here. If you have a question, run on up.
And please feel free to ask about literally anything. We don't just have to talk about the floor.
I just can't tell you what happens in the end of the floor. That costs me $1 million.
Hey, what's your name?
My name's Yvonne. I have a question about Clerks. When Kevin Smith decided to make Clerks, was it like a combined effort to think about actually doing a convenience store and a video store? And also, do you guys have a plan, or did he have a plan to make a series out of Clerks?
With Clerks, that was his actual job. So he just wrote about what he was doing and just did it in a weird, funny way. Now, one of the films that was not far before his movie was Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. Do the Right Thing, you're following this one guy's trial and tribulations throughout the neighborhood, working on a very hot day in Brooklyn, delivering Sal's Pizza. And it was just literally a day in the life of that one dude and all the characters in his neighborhood and all that type of stuff. I'm sure that was a heavy influence on him. Jim Jarmusch's Slacker, another day in the life kind of movie, black and white kind of feel to it. So he just wrote while he worked about what was going on. And so he worked the convenience store, and the same owners who owned that convenience store owned the video store next door. So they would swap guys working. So his good friend Brian Johnson, if you're fans of Tell 'Em Steve Dave or Comic Book Men series, the big bearded guy, yep. That's his real best friend, and that's who Randall is based off. And if you know Brian Johnson, or if you listen to the podcast, he fucking has a very Randall-esque type of point of view on things. So he just wrote like if Bry was Randall and he was Dante, and he decided to put this one day in the life of a guy together film, and he figured it out with his friends that he made at Vancouver Film School, Scott Mosier, who was our producer and sound guy, and Dave Klein, who was our camera guy, our DP. And it was shot over 23 days with only like 2 or 3 days of day shooting to shoot the hockey season on the roof, the funeral scene, and various other scenes that were outside, and do this script. So he wrote what he knew. The idea of a script he had first actually was Dogma. He was like always doing films to hopefully one day to shoot this kind of weird kind of angels versus devils kind of Dogma. So making Clerks black and white because we couldn't afford the lights to cover color film, because if you shoot under fluorescence, you look kind of in the Matrix. You have this green hue. And that's what it was. It was kind of a film that he could show to producers and distributors, like, this is my style of filmmaking. And we were lucky enough that it was at the right time when independent filmmakers were getting their due. People like Quentin Tarantino, people like Rodriguez, people like Jarmusch were starting to fill theaters of these different takes of stories. It wasn't typical Hollywood happy endings that are tied up with a bow. They were like dark death and destruction, or even like, Reservoir Dogs, a violent film in a style unlike any other kind of mob type of film, and the dialogue that was snappy and rich. And the same thing with Kevin. Kevin's strong point has always been his dialogue. He's always talking in a very quick, regular kind of guy attitude, but still very smart in very different ways and funny. And so we were very lucky that Sundance, it got bought by the Miramax company, and we got distribution, and Kevin got a 3-picture deal with them to then make Mallrats and Chasing Amy and Dogma. And the fact that this world, very much John Hughes-like, where you can do a bunch of movies in the similar area, started to line up. So we've been very fortunate to have the Askewniverse, and here we are 31, 32 years later still talking about it, and people still loving it and discovering it for the first time. Now there are people who have kids, who were kids, and have their own kids, and now I feel like real fucking old. But at the same time, at least it's not films that are people like, I don't even know, what are you talking about? And it's something. And the fact that Kevin is still so prolific, here we are making another Jay and Silent Bob movie. So I always jokingly call them like, it's like the grumpy old men franchise. Like, it's going to be soon the grumpier old Clerks, or grumpy Jay and Silent Bob kind of a thing. But thank you so much for the question.
Thank you.
Woohoo. Hello.
Hello there.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm Aaron.
Hi,
and,
Aaron.
Hi, Brian. So my one of my favorite scenes in Clerks 3 is when Dante finally had enough of Randall. The "Your life is my life" quote. What was it like doing that scene and with a heart attack towards the?
Sure, spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
So yeah, for those who haven't seen Clerks 3, it's a great comedy that takes a left turn into like, oh shit, this is some serious drama going on here. That scene specifically, I knew was going to be the most important scene I ever had in any of Kevin Smith films, and I just gave it the reverence and the work that it deserved. Over 30 years of knowing this character, playing it in very different roles, very different situations, I was like, you know what, this is it. This has got to cut to the core. This has got to cut to the quick of what is the relationship between Dante and Randall. And so, knowing the trauma that Dante was going through up until that point, knowing the trauma of losing who he loses, not getting what he wants in other ways, and knowing people every day in real life who struggle with things, who have their issues, who are working through it. And you never know. You could be sitting next to someone who's the fucking life of the party, and they're so sad, and they're just in their lives. So I had to give it that importance to it, to tap into that, to lace it into Randall. And I knew, like, well, this is going to be probably the end, so we'll see where we go from here. And there it was. So I remember we did our first table read 2 weeks before we're going to shoot the movie. Kevin's still working out a few things in the few scenes, so he's sitting at the head of the table with his laptop taking notes. Jeff's here, I'm here, Trevor's there, Jay's there, and his wife, is at the end, and she's just reading all the female parts so that we can just get through the script. We're getting the script, we're turning pages, he'd be stopped, well, let's change this to that, and we do that, and we continue with a scene, and the movie's going along. When we get to that scene, like, there's scenes going on that I'm not a part of, and then it's gonna lead to that scene, so I had already put in all the work on it. Like, yeah, I'm not off book, but as soon as that, I literally just closed the script, and Kevin is looking at the laptop, and all of a sudden he looks at me, that I've already closed the script, and he says this in interviews, oh shit, we're in for something now. And so then I gave it like 60% of what you see on screen. I give this kind of the big ending kind of thing. And he's like, whoa. And then immediately Jeff turns to Kevin like, do I have to be off book already? We're like, no, you got 2 weeks. We're good. But he was very happy with the choices I made. And it surpassed what he thought my choices were going to be. And I was like, look, it's 30 years, man. It's 30 years of this guy fucking blah, blah, blah in his ear, and he's had enough. But it's also 30 years of loving each other. And that's what it is.
Thank you, Mr. Dante.
Thank you.
Hey, what's your name?
My name's Powell,
Hey, pal.
and I'm a big Clerks fan.
Right
but
on.
I'm gonna go off
You're-
topic
You're
from
at
Clerks.
the right panel.
I'm gonna go off topic.
Yeah, let's do it.
One of my favorite non-Kevin Smith movies is Drop Dead Roses.
Oh, right
what
on,
was your
brother.
favorite moment from filming the movie?
So I did this movie up in Toronto called Drop Dead Roses with my real life girlfriend as my co-star in it, Diana Devlin. We've been together 32 years, and thank you. Yes, I have couples of friends, a circle of friends who I've outlasted like 6 marriages so far, and I'm like, all right, the key is not get married apparently, and so it was amazing. First of all, co-starring opposite her, and she's a much better actor than I am, and I'm always trying to push her to keep doing more stuff. But doing this script up in Toronto, it's about 2 guys that own a flower shop called Drop Dead Roses, to where if you want to send a box of candy, flowers, anything to anybody you want to break up with, tell them they're fired, finally reveal to them that they're adopted, we were the shop to come to. Because you're getting stepped on candies, crushed flowers, and maybe a package or 2 of stuff that you don't want. So it stars Eddie McGee. Speaking of game shows, Eddie McGee was the first winner of Big Brother. He was the guy with the 1 leg and stuff like that, if you remember the very first U.S. version of Big Brother. He was my co-star in it. With the 1 leg and crutches, he acted in this movie like geniusly. The greatest scene, so there's one scene where this really crazy stalker kind of girl who's a stripper is trying to hit on me, break up me with my co-star, who I'm trying to be my girlfriend, who's my real girlfriend. So we shot in an actual strip club, the whole night of this one strip club. And it was just weird being in a situation where women were just completely perfectly normal, waiting as we're setting up, just completely topless and stuff. Like, hey, what's up? Like, hey, things are good. What's going on with you? I'm like, things are good. And just literally like just make sure the eyes are up here, because the last thing I want to do is this while my girlfriend's like right there. You know what I mean? So, but it was fun because everybody got involved in it. It was the first time shooting something in Canada. It was a lot of fun. That production was a lot of fun. We in the beginning, it was really an independent film, so independent, we did a sexy calendar to raise money where we were technically nude with things in front of us to block and very tongue-in-cheek type of things. And so out there's, I don't know, 400 calendars from 19 whatever of me in just stupid positions. But yes, I love that movie. I have a copy of it. I have one more copy of it for sale at my booth. But it's cute. It's a very cute. It's nothing raunchy. It's too raunchy or filthy. Yes, where there's a strip club scene. But for the most part, it's a buddy movie that's kind of funny. It was very irreverent. It has a vein of Clerks to it. So when you're early on and people like, hey, you're now that irreverent clerky guy. Let's put you in this movie, kind of a thing. But thank you. I appreciate that. Drop Dead Roses.
Hello. What's your name?
Hello, my name is Hunter. And,
Hi, Hunter.
My question is about the Clerks animated series.
My favorite.
And if the show was ever brought back, how would you like to see an episode play out?
So the Clerks animated series that was produced by ABC back in 2000, we did 6 episodes. great artwork, great script writing. Producer, showrunner, and writer was just Dave Mandel, who was from Curb Your Enthusiasm, Seinfeld. He was an SNL writer for the longest time. And Kevin and Chris Bailey, one of the animators, and Steven Silver was the master art that you see on my table. If I was that's the one thing I annoy Kevin the most about, like, we should do this again. We should fuck with the other Jane Silent Bob stuff. Let's get into the cartoon thing, because if you're seeing the lines out on this floor, the voiceover people are pretty goddamn busy all day. Plus, it's an open world. You could do whatever, Clerks in space, Clerks go back in time, Clerks go meet whatever. And Kevin can do that. He has the rights to do a Clerks animated series anywhere he wants, anytime he wants to do it. We were trying to go to Hulu because Hulu, owned by Disney, has the rights for the first version we did. They own that art style. They own the characters like Leonardo, and Mr. Plug, and all that type of stuff. And we approached them before we made Clerks 3. Hey, I see Justin Roiland is doing Solar Opposites and all this other stuff. I see you're starting to pump up animation onto Hulu. We have a show that you guys already own, so the pre-production is technically done. All the voice talent that was there before is willing to do it again. As a matter of fact, we all kind of technically have our own home studios now, because the technology for people podcasting during lockdown, all that became so quick and easy available. So that's something I would definitely want to do again. So he said his lawyer or his agent approached Hulu, and Hulu was like, yeah, we good, because Justin's doing all this stuff for us. And then Justin got into some hot water with some different issues. And so I don't know if Kevin is approached again to try to do it again. Otherwise, he could do another version, like in the style of like Rick and Morty, or in the style of like The Critic, or Dr. Katz. Something different art style-wise, we could do it. I don't know what's holding him back technically. I've never had the actual, like, look me in the eye. What's going on? Why wouldn't we do this? Because, listen, as handsome as this face may look right now, we physically are getting a little too oof on screen. But we still have our voices. I mean, for fuck's sake, look at the Simpsons people. They're in, I forget what year now, and Lisa's still in school? How smart is she if she's still in school? Now, my point is, it's a never-ending world. It's an endless world that would be great to tap into. Plus we still have our voices to do it, anything. Just like, what would we want to continue with? Anything. I've jokingly said, let's do everything from the first movie timeline to the end of Clerks 3 timeline, or even beyond. Like I said, you can do whatever you want with that type of world. But thank you. I always say to harass Kevin to bring it back, or even harass Hulu to bring it back. I think if enough people contacted Hulu and saying, like, bring the show. Now, it was funny because the Hulu executive did say to his agent, we own this? I'm like, yes, you own this. So there you go.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate that.
All right, we got about 10 minutes. We got 3 questions. This should be perfect. What's your name?
My name is Max.
Hi, Max. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. I know you probably get this question a lot, but my first Clerks or like Askewniverse movie that I saw was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back,
Right on.
which is probably one of my favorites, but I also love Clerks too. What is your favorite Askewniverse movie that you have been in, and why?
Well, that's like asking a mother her favorite child. They're all very special to me
Yes.
in their own special ways, is the common answer I give. But if you were to ask me what was the most fun to work on, would be definitely the second Clerks 2. Only because there were so many things going on in that movie. One day on the schedule, we're doing a big dance routine number, which, by the way, the dance coordinator of all those dancers was Mickey Rooney's son. Yeah, I didn't know that till like day 2 of like, this guy's really good. Who is he? He's like, it's Mickey Rooney's son. I'm like, the Mickey Rooney? Like, yeah. I'm like, holy shit. And I went up and like, oh my God, you're awesome. But I loved your dad's work. It was also like, he beat me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. He didn't. But it was a lot of fun doing that. Like, so one day there's a dance routine number. One day we're at a go-kart track all day. So much so that when they called lunch, they're like, Bri, lunch. I was in the go-kart. I'm like, I'm good. I'm fat enough. And I literally spent the rest of the time just doing the go-karts because it was so freeing, or centering, as Randall would say. It was just so much fun. As a matter of fact, I think there's a scene that they used while I was just tooling around on my own, and I had put my actual sunglasses on. So I think there's a cut where you see Dante all of a sudden has sunglasses and then not sunglasses. It's because they were shooting me while I was just on my own during lunch. Another day, we're watching an actual donkey show. Another day, I'm making out with Rosario Dawson. And then another day, I'm actually being straddled and making out on a swing with Kevin's real wife, which is weird. I don't see anybody having a job where you walk in like, Bob, I need you to sit on that swing while my wife straddles you and makes out with you while I film you, and at the end, I'm going to hand you your check. What do you say? Ding. All right, so... and then the next thing is you're working with such great people like Wanda Sykes, the comedian Earthquake. Baby, you can't taste racism. One of the funniest lines ever. So that's that whole porch monkey scene. I mean, it was just thing after thing, working with Affleck for that day, working with Jason Lee while he was making My Name is Earl. I remember him arriving to set with that mustache, and we were, hey, what's going on? And Kevin's like, hey, you're going to have to shave that mustache off. He's like, that's my moneymaker. We're like, no, we're fucking with you. I know you're still on Earl. You can't cut it off. But it was that kind of fun. We literally, instead of trailers on a set, we took over a Days Inn that was right next door for our dressing rooms. And it was just cool to be able to just do stuff. Jay was like the class clown. We got to work full-time with Rosario Dawson, who is the funniest, the sweetest, the most beautiful, the huge nerd. Like, she's into comics, she's into sci-fi. Her career goal is to play a role in every type of universe there is. Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, everything she could possibly dip her toe into, view Askewniverse. That's her goal. So she's super happy about being in the Star Wars. She's trying to pivot to go into Star Trek at some point. Like, those type of things, like, she's really cool. She's politically active in her community, and she's really great for women's rights and independent artists and stuff like that. So I was sad that we only got to have her for a day and a half for Clerks 3. But we become friends over the years, and we support each other in various different ways. So I got to say Clerks 2 when it came to the most fun.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome, Max. Thanks for the question.
All right, we got 5 minutes. We already got our photographer.
I'll
in the
blast
wings.
through
Perfect.
these things.
What's your name?
Peyton.
Peyton, how are you, Peyton?
Good, how are you?
Doing good, thanks.
Don't mean to make it somber in here, but I know like a lot of people here grew up watching Clerks.
Right on.
View Askewniverse it's been over 30 years. When it came to Clerks 3 and having what happened to Dante happen, did that have an impact on you personally, or like any emotionally during the process?
Well, if you see the scene, emotionally, it's very draining. It was a very draining scene to work into. Like I described earlier, there's losing my father at 15 was a good inspiration to heart disease, no less. Knowing people going through the pain of loss, living with survivor's guilt on different things there's going on there. So yeah, emotionally, there was a lot invested in that, and things that you just don't take for granted in people. Like, it's a simple rule. Just don't be a dick. Just don't be a dick. We're all having issues. Just don't be a dick. Be helpful. Someone cut you off. I get it. What the fuck you do? Do you not see me making the turn? I know everything is so, right now in the world, politically, economically, emotionally, we're all on edge on different things. Things that you thought were permanent parts of your government are being torn down. People who were normally accepted at one time are somehow being vilified for doing nothing but being themselves. And it gets bottled up. And you just can't be that way. We can't be like that as a society. And I know you're saying you don't want to get somber in the room, but it's the type of thing, like, I want people to live their best life, not their angry life, not their, like, oh, go fuck yourself life. Just, just get along. What does it matter who someone loves? What does it matter that you want a kid to read a book? It's a book. You interpret books. No one's grooming anything. Come on now. Just come on.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. You're welcome.
You guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, our final question.
You're the final question. Make it good.
My name is Alice Mark.
Alex, how good to see you?
I want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
What is your best moment on acting with your coworkers on Clerks?
Best moment for acting with coworkers on Clerks. Great question. There's so many moments, to be honest with you, on Clerks. I gotta say, Jeff and I have this uncanny ability to just know where the pace we're gonna go at, the reaction we're gonna go at. And that was the greatest thing about working with Jeff. Jeff is just so perfect as a partner that way. And then we add the great Rosario Dawson to it, and she mixed in perfectly and made it to an oil mix that was just this kind of like, oh, this is what we needed kind of a thing. And so that all being said, Kevin writing the most incredible dialogue that I've always, since to this day, I always compare everybody else's dialogue to Kevin's. And just getting it away as an actor, a way of saying things that make sense and make it fun and make it for everybody. So there's so many scenes I can't even name it down to one. But anytime I get to work with Jeff and or Rosario, and that's not to poo-poo anyone like Trevor Furman who played Elias, or Austin who played Blockchain, or even Kevin's own wife and the other people who I've worked with. Rooker is another one who's hilarious to work with when we did Mallrats. That kind of a thing was always fun, and that was the genius. Like, I got to work with George Carlin, the great late George Carlin. Yeah. Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman pulled me aside. I was having, give it up for Alan Rickman, who played Metatron in Dogma. I was having a rough day getting this whole sequence of dialogue out in Dogma as the news reporter, and we took a break for 10 because I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. And Alan was on set at the time. He pulled me aside. He goes, hey, mate, it's all right. Don't worry about it at all. Everybody has days like that. You'll get it. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. And just for him to take that moment, I'm like, fucking Hans Gruber's telling me everything's going to be fine. Because he wasn't Snape or whatever he was. I've never watched any of the Harry Potter, so I don't know the character. Oh, I know. How dare you? Stop it. Stop it. That's what I mean. It doesn't matter if I watched it or not. Like, thank God that wasn't a topic on the game show. Harry Potter, I'm like, I'm fucked.
But you would have studied because you're smart. So.
I would have studied. I would definitely would have studied. And I probably would have then said it in the voices of them. You know what I mean? The yippee-ki-yay. Anyway. So we got a minute left.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your question. I appreciate that.
Appreciate have a blessed day, man.
You too.
You're
You have a
awesome.
blessed day as well.
Well, with that minute left, we're going to take a big group picture.
Hold on.
Okay.
We have a last-minute edition here. Hang on.
Okay.
All right, my name is Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
Brian.
How you doing?
What is your favorite karaoke song?
Oh, shit. Here we go. I did a song last night that's one of my favorites called War Pigs. I like to do Foo Fighters' My Hero when I do Comic-Cons because it's a Comic-Con, My Hero, superheroes kind of a thing. So, yes. Otherwise, Creep is another good one by Radiohead. And I also like to warm up with Safety Dance, Men Without Hats.
You are my hero.
There you go. I saw you the other night singing. I saw you.
All right,
There you
now
go.
we're going to take a picture because
There
they're
you go.
waiting
Let's
in the
do
wings.
it.
So if you guys want to come up to the stage, just not on the stage, and we're going to take a picture.